Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by my page. You know it's going to be a good meal today because Daddy's in the kitchen. Today, what I'm cooking is lamb chops. Lamb chops, and I'm going to serve that with some red potatoes, red onions, some leeks, some kale, and then I'm going to put all that and plate it and show you the final dish. For the potatoes, I'm going to cut those in half and then saute them in some olive oil. I'm going to roughly pull apart the kale and put that into some olive oil that has some garlic in it as well. Once the potatoes have cooked for a while, I'm going to add the red onions to it that are nicely chopped. And then once those are getting close to being done, then I'll add the lamb chops. I'm going to sear those. Lamb chops, a dish that's very high in protein, they're best served rare. But if you have someone in your family that doesn't like rare meat, then you can still cook those a little bit longer and get them to the medium. But then they start to lose the luster of it if you start to cook it overly done. So rare, and as far as you want to go with that is medium. So I'm going to prepare the vegetables, and then I'll bring it back so you can see how those are prepared before I get started. Chop these potatoes and get those going. Just going to cut them in half. Now that I got those potatoes chopped, I'm going to chop up the leeks. And I don't think I mentioned that when I was first talking, but the leeks, I'm going to put those in with the potatoes as well. And the leeks are pretty good with flavor, making the dish very flavorful. But one thing that you have to remember with the leeks is when you cook, and generally cook the white bottoms of the leeks separate from the darker green portion of the leeks. And once you've washed off the leeks, get started chopping them up. And when you get into the darker green portion of the leeks, it tends to have a little bit more dirt and grainy stuff in there, so you need to wash those again. And you can wash all of it again if you like, but really the only portion that you need to be concerned with are the darker green leafy parts of the leeks. Quite often that dark green leafy part is not really used with the cooking, it's used for the garnishing portion. So I'm going to cut the darker green portion here, put it into a bowl so it can be washed. And today I'm going to use it in cooking, not just as a garnish. All right. Now I'm going to chop up some of the garlic. And chopping the garlic is going to be part of the first thing that I start to cook once I start to heat up the olive oil. And the garlic again will go in the potatoes, and it's also going to go in with the kale. So let's get that chopped up, and it doesn't have to be finely chopped, just need the flavor to come across, and that will happen when it's cooking in that olive oil. So we're back, getting ready to start cooking the vegetables. And here you can see all of the vegetables prepared and ready to go. Also have the kale. I'm going to get the stove turned on, start to heat up the olive oil. For the kale, remember we're going to roughly tear the kale and cook it. So just roughly tear it. And that kale is going to fill up the pot, but just squish it down because it's going to cook down to probably about 1/4 of the size that it is now. The kale, if you got some frustration you're trying to work it out when you're doing the kale. Rip it, tear it, get it in there, and then you can just squish it down too. But as your pot fills up, remember that it's going to cook down, so you got to keep putting it in there. Once you get it all in there, then cover it so that the heat can take care of that. The potatoes are going to go in the pot in the back. The skillet is in the back. And that's nice and hot as well, so we'll go ahead and add the potatoes to the olive oil. I'm going to add them cut side down. Cover those and let those cook for a while. After those are cooked for a while and I feel that they are about half the way done, then I'll add the onions and the leeks. The leeks that are going to go into the kale, I'll do the same with those once it's about halfway done. Once the kale is cooked down and I can see it, then I'll add the leeks to it as well. But once all of that is almost done, then I'll cook the lamb chops, because again, we want those to be cooked rare. All right, I think these potatoes are about halfway done. I've already added the green part of the leeks to the kale. I'm going to go ahead and add the onions and the white part of the leeks to the potatoes and let those finish cooking. Someday, somebody's going to figure out how to get these aromas into the camera so y'all can smell them out there at home. But for now, just take my word for it, this stuff smells really good. Once I get these in here, I'm going to add a little bit more of salt and pepper. And continue to let those cook. Pepper, a little bit of salt, cover and let that continue to simmer. And I noticed earlier that I had on my kitchen towel over my shoulder, and you all couldn't see my Florida State symbol. So I want to take that off to make sure you all see, because there's some University of Florida fans out there that they really need to see this. So I just had to take that off. And that for my fellow Florida State fans, I know you all like to see that stuff too. So get your Florida State gear, get ready for the football season that's coming up. And I think it's going to be a good season. I really do. All right, so this still has to cook for a while, and then again, once it gets closer, then I'll add the lamb chops to the. Hey, the vegetables, they're pretty close to being done, so I'm going to go ahead and get the lamb chops started. Get the stove turned on and get the olive oil heated up. Once the olive oil is heated up, I'm going to add the lamb chops. I'm going to cook some rare and some medium, just so I can make sure that everybody in the family has a chop that they'll eat, something that they will like. Different people, different tastes. I will eat the ones that are rare, because I believe those are the ones that are going to have the most flavor. This oil is heating up pretty quickly here. Let me stir these potatoes. They're coming along nicely. That's pretty good. I'm going to turn the heat down on those and still let them keep cooking. The oil is hot. I'm going to add the lamb chops. Remember, the lamb chops have been sitting with the rosemary and the salt and pepper on them, so that should be adding to the flavor. Cook for a little bit. I'm going to turn one of them over so that I can have it drained. That rosemary flavor is really coming out strong. So the lamb flavor, it has a very distinct smell and taste to it. But combining that with the rosemary, it's really coming out very, very good. So now everything is coming pretty close to an end. It's all about ready. The potatoes, have a look at those. Those look very nice. The kale cooked down quite a bit. Not sure if you can even see that, but it cooked down. Remember how those are all coming out of the pot? Now it's all cooked down a lot. And the lamb chops, they come along nicely. So I'm going to take all of those out. I'm going to place them into my presentation dish, and then I'm going to have everyone come down so they can eat. Now I'll show you the finished dish once I put it all into the presentation dish. Okay, the final dish is ready, and it looks and smells delicious. I'm about ready to call everybody down so they can come and enjoy the meal. So hopefully it tastes as good as it looks and smells. So here you go, have a look. See if we can get a nice shot of it. All right, thanks for stopping by my page and watching me cook these lamb chops with potatoes and kale. Hopefully you like my page. So look down at the bottom, like the page, and if you feel like, go ahead and even share it. And tune back in, because you never know what's happening when Daddy's in the kitchen.